There we go, Canada a little quicker to that ball. Wu taking it and getting countered. Young, unhappy with himself. Mergler off the... And Guting, the other corner. Ooh, hopefully everybody's okay there. There was a face shot.
My name is Jason Mergler. I've been playing for Canada since 2013, and I've been playing dodgeball for over 14 years now. I've suffered multiple shoulder injuries, whether they be supraspinatus tears, subscapular tears, and I've had bumps, bruises, MCL sprains, wrist sprains. I've had a concussion on one occasion, but probably my biggest injury was when I needed knee surgery, meniscal surgery back in 2017. Yeah, there's mainly been knee injuries and shoulder injuries, simply is because it's a throwing sport. You see a lot of shoulder injuries, a lot of elbow injuries, wrist injuries, a lot of those sort of kinds of injuries, and a lot of knee issues because we do go down a lot on our knees with our knee pads on, obviously, but a lot of ACL injuries, MCL, PCL even, and meniscal tears. Of course, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's in 2021. I guess we'll see, but I'm just really hoping to start dodgeball again soon, because I haven't been playing for the past couple months, and last year was pretty much a wash in terms of sports in general, but it'll be really nice to start up dodgeball in general again and just start playing and enjoying the game. Thank you.
As you can see, this is High Jump Peak. Just introduce you to a little bit of Hong Kong. Hi, my name is Jasper, and I've been playing dodgeball in Hong Kong for about 5 years. So I started playing 10 years ago in Canada, and once I came to Hong Kong, I played competitively and played in my first dodgeball championships in Vegas in 2015. Then in 2018, I helped co-captain the Hong Kong team in Los Angeles, and our last dodgeball championship, which was in 2019 in Cancun, I was captain of the Hong Kong team then. In terms of personal injuries, I've had, as many of you have had, just countless finger injuries. So whether it's jam fingers from catching the ball or stabbing myself, whether it's, just even hitting teammates. I've jammed my thumb and jammed so many fingers. So those are the main injuries I've had. I've never had really serious injuries. I had a wrist injury when I was playing in Cancun. I think it was just from overuse, and that took me probably almost 6 months to heal. So that was, you can call it my biggest injury. And obviously just shoulder strains and some leg strains, but nothing major personally. In terms of common injuries that I often see in many of my fellow athletes, and there are a lot of my athletes, they put their body much more on the line than I do. So when they're sliding and when they're going all out on their knees, I see a lot of knee injuries when they're suddenly stopping and starting again, or back strains when they're just flying up in the air and landing. So, but in dodgeball, as it's not as a super contact sport as a lot of other sports, those are probably the main injuries that I see. Alright, so Glasgow 2021. It's so hard to imagine that Glasgow 2020 was actually cancelled and the whole year was cancelled. But what I'm really looking forward to is just seeing everyone back on court. We haven't practiced as a team for so long, and it's just having that community, having that team support, that team training, motivation for one another, and then obviously thinking of the world stage, just having competition again itself, and that we never realized how much we actually missed competition, miss playing with each other and playing against each other, and just having that community back together again. I'm really excited, but at this point it's hard to tell when that will all start up again, but I'm ready whenever it does.
Hi, I'm Hui Sen. I represent Team Malaysia's dodgeball team, and dodgeball has been part of my life ever since 2012. Dodgeball requires quite an explosive and dynamic movements at times, and mostly it relies heavily on one side with our throwing arm. I have built up injuries from my lower back in a twisting motion, ankles, knees, wrists, and rotator cuff impingement. Well, the most common injuries you see people getting from these sports are their fingers getting jammed by the ball, and of course their throwing arms, rotator cuff shoulder injuries. This is the most common of all. I was really looking forward to competing again in the World Dodgeball Championship in year 2020, but with the pandemic arise, it has forced me to stop and driven me to put my focus more on my career and soon starting a family. Hopefully, if all goes well according to plan, I still do hope I'm able to compete in the next World Dodgeball and play with all the elite athletes around the world. Signing off. Take care.
I'm Lynn Kirkpatrick from Canada. I've been playing dodgeball for 14 years. I've had the privilege of representing Canada 6 times at the Dodgeball World Championships in foam and also once in cloth. I've had 2 significant dodgeball injuries, both with very unfortunate timing. 3 days before the 2017 World Championships in Canada, I broke my left pinky at practice. And halfway through the 2018 National Championships, I suffered a partial muscle tear in my rotator cuff. Both of these injuries actually went kind of undiagnosed, misdiagnosed for a little while, but that's a whole other story. I think these injuries put me in good company, as broken fingers and shoulder injuries are by far the most common injuries that I've seen in dodgeball, probably followed by elbow and knee injuries. I had so been looking forward to the planned 2020 Dodgeball World Championships in Glasgow. I will say that the massive forced break from the sport that I love has given me the time to do some good rehab on my shoulder and some other mobility work to hopefully avoid some future injuries. So I'm excited to go back to dodgeball feeling strong and fresh, and to get back to training with my teammates and seeing everyone in the community that I have so dearly missed.
Hi there, my name is Wisheng and I'm from the Malaysian dodgeball team. So I've been playing dodgeball for about 8 years, and it has been 5 years since I've represented the country. Have I suffered any injuries from dodgeball? Definitely yes. But whether it comes from the tournaments or from training, it's usually over a long period of time where I overuse my shoulders. Basically throwing too many times. Common injuries in dodgeball, definitely shoulders, rotator cuffs. In some cases, they get sort of like tennis elbows. The reason being is that dodgeball is one of the heaviest throwing sports in all sports, where you practically just throw non-stop until either yourself or all your opponents is taken out, and then you just repeat the cycle over and over again. So you really need to condition your arm well and your shoulders so that you reduce the risk of getting injured. COVID-19 definitely impacted 2020's World Championship in Glasgow, and everyone's devastated by it. But I'm definitely looking for the next Worlds. Don't know when it's going to be next. Hopefully this year or as soon as it can be, probably next year. Training's been hard because we've been locked down almost the whole time, and I've been trying to do trainings on my own, and I haven't stopped training since. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next series of the World Championships. What I look forward most in World Championships, definitely the adrenaline that I get from the atmosphere, from the environment, the crowd, the people. It's just amazing. I can't wait to get back to the World Championships when it happens next.
Hey there, this is Ryan from Australia. I've been playing dodgeball competitively since about 2013, and playing dodgeball, my first game was in about 2011. My injuries I've suffered playing dodgeball, the worst one I ever had was I tore my labrum, which is the cartilage tied around the bone. I ripped that off in 2017 due to overuse from playing baseball and dodgeball, so just too much workload, and I was using weighted balls in baseball as well, so just to increase my throwing speed. So lack of strengthening in the joint and stability meant I had to get an operation, and yeah, that put me out of sport for at least 6 months, and my arm didn't get back to sort of what it was before for like a good 2 years. The most common injuries I see in my dodgeball experience, yeah, like shoulder impingements, shoulder tendonitis, and also stuff with like people's knees, like, you know, not wearing good enough knee pads, or like slamming down on your knees when you're like trying to block or dodging. Unfortunately, COVID-19 stopped the Dodgeball World Champs last year in Glasgow, which I was actually going to play, so I was really excited for that, so I'm sort of bummed that didn't happen. But yeah, wherever the next championship is, and if it does go ahead, I'll be very looking forward to playing, just because, yeah, I feel like my body is almost come back to the point that it was before getting injured. And yeah, just really looking forward to the competition again, and yeah, I really want to aspire to be the best and challenge myself, and also meeting my friends again, you know, from around the world, because obviously COVID's made it a bit harder to see my friends, so yeah, that'll be really good.
Those were some of our most elite athletes, elite dodgeballers, world-class dodgeballers from all over the world. Thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for just helping create awareness to the players out there of the potential injuries that they may be suffering from, the common ones. I'm going to be talking about the common sort of injuries and how we can kind of target it, how we can help decrease injury rate. But first of all, I'm going to introduce myself as a player. So be right back. Hi, my name is Eunice and I'm from Team Malaysia. I've been playing dodgeball for around 8 years now. I've had the great pleasure of playing with some of the guys you've seen before. Thank you guys. Hope we can play together again one day after all of this COVID stuff. And I personally have suffered with various injuries before, shoulder injuries, back injuries. The common shoulder injuries I've seen out there is rotator cuff sort of issues, impingements, tendinopathies, even some dislocations. And with the elbow, a very common sort of issue is medial elbow, or some of you know it as golfer's elbow. I know we're not playing golf here, but any sort of cocking motion of the elbow can cause some strain into this sort of medial elbow region. So some tendinopathy around the region there, some back sort of injuries. I've seen knee injuries, people diving on the floor and trying to catch the ball, and people are just diving for the ball. And any of you had any sort of injuries to your fingers when you're trying to catch the ball and it just jams right into your fingers? That hurts. I know, I've been there. So the spine plays a critical role in any sort of dodgeball related movement. It acts like a link between your upper extremities and your lower extremities and your hip. So a strong, stable, a healthy spine and a strong core is a prerequisite for all performance in any level of dodgeball. Any level of dodgeball. An athlete with poor spinal stabilization and control are at increased risk of injuries. So your spine and your core acts like a link. It helps to keep your shoulders and your head in position while you are in all sorts of dodgeball related movement. You'll be twisting, you'll be turning, and your spine will have to dynamically flex and turn and twist and laterally sort of bend to help maintain this balance. So it's not uncommon for dodgeballers and athletes to experience some sort of lower back pain or SI joint sort of issues because of all the torsional sort of force that we put through our spine during all this sort of dodgeball related movements. So for each throw, the thrower has to generate a high amount of energy through their lower limbs, their core, their trunk, and their shoulders to help accelerate the ball to maximum speed. And then after that, the shoulders, the capsules, and the muscles around the region will help dissipate the force so that your shoulders doesn't take all that force itself. So the coordination of this whole kinetic chain is crucial so that your shoulders doesn't have to take all that force. But let's say if your kinetic chain is somehow disrupted along the way, what will happen then is the shoulder will have to compensate and take more force to be able to produce that same sort of speed and performance and control. So things start to compensate around the region. How do you prevent injuries? Number one, strength and conditioning. Yes, I know we all want our gameplay, we all want our game time, but strength and conditioning is just as important. It helps reduce the incidence of injuries, it helps reduce the severity of injuries. Sometimes in competitive sport, it is inevitable, it comes sometimes, but if you have a well-coordinated, well-organized, well-administered plan, strength and conditioning plan, it will help you become more strong and resilient to all the stress and impact that your sports bring with you, that dodgeball brings with you. If you have strength conditioning, you're going to get stronger, your muscles are going to get stronger, and if you are doing your drills and your speed work, all this is going to add up for you to become more powerful, and it's going to give a positive impact. Number two, warm up and cool down. A lot of people are not doing this enough. A lot of people are just jumping straight into the game and jumping into the drills. What you need to do, warm up dynamically. So you want to be moving it a little bit more rather than holding it. Static stretch, which is holding it, is for after you've trained, after you've finished. So don't just rush through your stretches. Take time, it is important. Number three, it is not addressed enough and I am going to address it. Smoking. Smoking is a big no-no. So it decreases your endurance. How it does that, the carbon monoxide will kind of displace the oxygen from the red blood cell. You don't have enough oxygen into your muscles and your tissues. It's going to decrease your endurance, decrease your performance, and you're going to be more susceptible to injuries and complications. So no smoking. Nah. Number five, last but not least, see a chiropractor. I'm not just saying this because I'm a chiropractor, but there are a lot of leagues out there, Major League Baseball, MLB, NFL, National Football League, that uses chiropractic treatments. Athletes that you might know, Michael Jordan, amazing basketballer, Michael Phelps, swimmer, Olympic swimmer, they all advocate for chiropractic treatments. So chiropractic treatments can help in terms of improving your range of motion, and it can help relieve pain. So even the strongest athlete can suffer from pain. So chiropractors will know exactly where to work on, help you to improve your function and your movement in not just the short term but the long term. So go see a chiropractor. They can help improve your function, your movement, your performance, and help you heal better. So that is all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just want to thank my fellow athletes again from all over the world. Thank you guys for taking the time and being part of this and helping create awareness out there and help people to get the help that they need. So if you guys have any questions, pop it in the comment below and I will get back to you guys. If you guys have any topics or queries that you guys have been always wondering about, drop it down below as well, or drop me a DM and I will try to answer it as best as I can. So peace out.